Hi, this is Dave, and welcome to the Table, a series of videos where I review and discuss various board and card games, looking at them from a family perspective. Today we're going to be taking a look at Green Deal from Karma Games, and this was released at Essen 2014, and what this is an economic game for 3 to 5 players set in the year 2050, so it's in the future. And you are going to be taking on the role of the head of a corporation that is going to be investing in these green projects, sustainability projects. And over the course of the game, you're going to be working to have the highest income level, the most money in the bank. You're going to want to be perceived by the public as one of the best companies. And you're going to want to have a good portfolio for your company, as well as a good presence in the world. And all of this is going to contribute to how you're going to perform in the game in terms of getting victory points, because you're going to have to undergo different evaluations, and you're going to be competing against your other players for prime locations and prime projects as well. So let's take a look at the game, how it's played, and I'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, I have Green Deal set up for 3 players, and I quickly want to go over the game setup and all the components that come in the game. So let's start off here with the game board in the center, because this is the main point of the game where all of the information is going to be visually present, that's going to show the state of our company that we're going to be representing. So first of all, on the outside here we have our victory point track, and it's going to keep track of our victory points during the game. Next we have this track here. This is our income track, and this is going to show us every round as our company earns income how much money we're going to be adding into the bank. And depending upon the number of players, you're going to be starting off at a certain income level. So for a 3-player game, we're going to be starting off with 8 income. There's also some markings along the board here that are going to show a specific range, and depending upon what range we are in, one of the options that we can do is pay dividends out essentially to our investors, and we can exchange cash from our bank for victory points, and those are determined here as well. The next track we have here is the cash track, and this is going to essentially be a visible representation of what we have in the bank. So right now all of the companies are going to start off with 20 cash. Next we have this turn order track here, which is going to keep track of the game. So there's a fixed number of rounds that the game is going to be played. And over the course of the game, or at certain points, there's going to be assessments that are going to be performed on our company to see how well we're performing, and we'll be able to earn victory points that way. Next, we have these 4 tracks right here, and these represent the 4 different types of sustainability projects that our companies can invest in, and depending upon our level of investment, we will be moving up and down our these investment tracks here. We have a turn order space here, and we will be determining what player order each of the players are going to be going in their turn. And then finally we have this map over here, and this map is going to represent where in the world we are going to have our sustainability projects taking place. And it's as you can see, there's a gradient color there, and it's going to be determined by the number of players. And there are specific spaces on there where we'll be starting our points at. Next, each player is going to get 3 things given to them. They are going to be given a wheel here that has a bunch of different monetary values on them, and this is going to be used for an auction for our turn order. And each player's color is going to be marked on the back here. So for example, this is the natural color here, and we have a black player here. Next, they're also going to get a PR track board here, and one of the things that our company can do is invest in public relations, and we will be able to place it in specific types of projects to make our image look good to the public. And these are also marked on the back according to our player color. And then finally there's going to be a quick reference guide here that's going to go over what's going to happen in each of the turn orders. And it's 2-sided, so we have English on one side and there is German on the other side. there are a number of different cards that come in the game here, and they're going to be placed out along the bottom. And the first thing we have here is a PR points here, how much money we can spend and how many victory points, and the instructions, and they're double-sided here too, so we have German on one side, English on the other. Here is the types of projects that our companies will be able to try to invest in, and we have these 4 different ones here. We have social type of projects, we have research projects, we have jobs, and we have environmental projects here. And the way that the game is set up, there will be 1 card here for each type that is below that we will be bidding on and trying to get. And then these are going to be the ones that are available to invest in the future. So there's always this bit of open information that we'll be able to see. There's also this tax refund card here. We could take an action in case we want to try to get either some money or invest in some public relations. There are some action cards that we will be able to purchase that we'll be able to execute throughout the game here. And sorry for the glare, it just happens to be the lighting that I have right now. And then finally there are these loan cards here that if we're running short on cash, we can take a loan out from the bank. If we don't pay it back, we're going to be taking a hefty penalty. And then up at the top here, off to the side, I have these tiles here, and these are going to be representations on this world map of where our projects are going to be in the world and what types they are. We have some PR chips here, and then each player is going to receive a number of these marked tokens here. So as you can see over here, I've got natural, gray, and black off to the side, and each one of them, there will be 1 particular marker that has a turquoise dot on there, and this turquoise dot is going to be used for performing specific types of assessments. So this is all of the components for the game. Let me show you how a turn order goes. So we're ready to start Green Deal, and we have our round marker here set to number 1, and the first thing that's going to happen, according to our reference guide here, is there's going to be an auction. And what's going to happen is players are going to be bidding money to for their turn order, and so each player receives one of these player wheels, and they're double-sided here, and they're secretly going to each move this wheel around to the certain amount of money that they're willing to bid for their turn order. So you can see it goes anywhere from 0 all the way up to 19. So let's see, he's going to be a little bit aggressive, and he's going to go with 4 cash here. This one here is the natural colored one, and let's see, we've got the black player is going to maybe go -7, and the natural color one, or gray one, is going to bid 5. And so what's going to happen is everybody's going to flip them over, they're going to reveal them, and we're going to determine the player order here. So we have the first one here is going to spend 8 cash, the black player. So the first thing they're going to do is decrease their cash by 8, so to go down to 12. And he'll place one of his tokens up in the first player space. What's going to happen next now is these 2 players have both decided to bid 5 cash, the next 2 players. So there's a tie, and there's ways to resolve this that are stated in the rules. But right now everybody's got the same, we're all on the same page here, so we'd have to flip a coin. So for the sake of argument, let's say that the natural player won, the coin toss is going second, and the gray one is going to go third. And so they each spent 5 cash, so they go down to 15. So here we are with, you can see now here where we are, money in the bank, and everything else. So let's take a look now. What's going to happen is the next phase here is going to be the accounting phase, and what we're going to do is we are going to, we adjusted the cash, and now we're going to add our income. So the next thing that we're going to do is add 8 cash to our bank because of our income level here is set at 8. So these guys here are going to go up to 23, and this one's going to go back up to 20. So here we are with our operating money right now. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be able to invest. And so the black player is going to go first, and the first thing that we're going to do is be able to invest in some of these projects that are here. And so let's take a look at these cards a little bit closer. And as you see, there's some information that's on here that's going to be important. First of all, there's going to be a number in the upper left-hand corner, and that is going to tell you the level of the project. And there's also going to be a title of the project. For example, here, this is a solar road surface. And then down at the bottom is going to tell you how much cash it costs, what it's going to do to your income, and then how many victory points you're going to gain. So for example here, this research project for a solar road surface is going to cost quite a bit. It's going to cost you 11 cash up front, and as we move along here, it's going to affect your income by $5. It's going to decrease your income by 5. However, you're going to get 12 victory points. Now, if we look at this one next to it, this is a level 1 social project. It's only going to cost you 1 cash up front. It's going to increase your income by 3, but you're only getting 4 victory points. So as you can see, there are some decisions that can be made. So what's going to happen is each player has the opportunity to invest in some of these different cards. These are sustainability projects. We can choose to take a tax refund. We can get either some PR or some money for free. And there's also going to be some action cards that we'll be able to pay for and use. Over here, there's a couple of them to choose from. Or if we're running low on cash, we can take a loan. We have to pay it back. Now, one thing that I want to note is that with these sustainability projects, even though there's 4 of them to choose from, there is only going to be 2 of them that will be selected in a 3-player game. So what's going to happen is there will be 1 less available than there are the number of players. So turn order is going to be very, very important for this and wanting to be able to get these, especially if players are going after them. So looking at the black player's turn order, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to choose to invest in this social project here. And so what's going to happen is they're going to decrease their cash level by 1. So they bring it down here, down to 19. We're going to increase our income level by 3. So this is going to go up to, we increase it 3 spaces. So if we move down here, we'll look at the space here. We go 1, 2, 3. So now our income level is going to be at 10 opposed to 8. And along here, you can see it's, depending on the spaces, will tell you what our income level is at. And then what's going to happen now is I also have the choice to maybe buy PR points, or if I want to pay dividends or something, or I can choose to play an action card here. So that's the other thing that I can do. I've already done my investment. Now I can choose to spend some more money if I want to. And I think what I'm going to do is I feel comfortable in spending, I'm going to spend basically 3 money to get a PR, 2 PR points. So I'll decrease this down by 3, 1, 2, 3, down to 16 cash. And I will take a number 2 PR token here, and I'm going to place it on my player board up here. And so right now I'm just going to leave this in the pool, and I'll be able to move this later on during an assessment. I'll be able to play these. So I'll just place that right there in the middle. And next I will move on to what's called the expansion phase. And so what's going to happen now is I've taken this number 1 project, and so I'm going to go over to the board here, and I'm going to take one of these number 1 tiles, which I have right here, and I'm going to place it on the game board in one of the spots where there is a number 3, and this is going to be a starting place. So I'm going to go right here. Now, I'm going to take one of my markers and I'm going to be placing it on here to show you that it's my project. And so that's what's going to happen on a turn order for each of the players. So that's how a turn goes. Now, a couple different things are going to happen as we move along in this game. As we're expanding our projects over here, we are going to have to place them next to our existing ones that we have done. So in the future, as we're expanding, we're going to be building off of our existing projects. So depending upon the levels they're going to be, we may see like this one here would go in, and we would have one of our markers on here. And all the other players are going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be starting off at different spaces where there's a number 3. So maybe, for example, over here, we've got this player here with black, and maybe this one over here started off with an orange. And as we're expanding, we can build either orthogonally or diagonally. But now something's going to happen right here that I want to show you. Let's say, for example, here, that it is the gray player's turn, and they are going to invest in one of these jobs projects. So this is one of these blue ones. And so they're going to choose to put this 4 down. They invested in a level 4 project, and they placed their marker on the board. They have now placed a tile next to one of their opponents, and they have 2 options that they can do. What they can do is they can choose to cooperate, and what's going to happen is then both of them are going to work together to increase their income. And so they will be able to get some extra money. So for example, if they did this here, we've got a 4 and a 2. We're going to add them two together, an average. So each one's going to have an income level that's going to go up by 3. Or they can choose to compete against each other, and what's going to happen is essentially one is going to hurt the other. So what is going to happen here is this gray has 4, the natural color has 2. What's going to, if they choose to compete against each other, the gray player will go up 2, and there's a difference of 2. The natural player is going to go down 2. So there's going to be a little bit of this area control that's going to go on the game board, and it's going to affect income levels for your company depending upon where they're located in the world in competition with other players. And so we're going to, so that's just one of the things that's going to happen here. And so what will happen is we will go ahead and adjust levels on these various tracks accordingly. Another thing that we can do is we can choose to pay dividends. And so if we look here, for example, down here, this says -3 cash for 4 victory points. What I can choose to do on a turn is I can spend the money depending on where we're at to get more points. So let's say maybe the natural player, they decided that on their turn, on a future turn, that they wanted to pay dividends. They'll decrease the cash by 3, 1, 2, 3. And what's going to happen is they'll move up on the victory point track. So, so that's how the dividends work. Also, as the companies are investing in these various projects, they're going to be moving up the track depending upon their levels. So if we go into, for example, here the red player only has, or the natural player only has 1 on the red project level, and they've got 2 on the jobs. And so each of these tracks are going to be able to adjust. Now, one thing that's going to happen here is there's going to be a PR assessment here. So if we get up to this round number 5, what we're going to be doing is looking at the PR levels of each of the companies and see who's out in front in terms of gaining some victory points. How the PR assessment works is that players are going to take their PR board here and any tokens that they have in their hand, and they're going to secretly place them on these various locations here. They can choose to keep one for the next round that'll sit here, but let's say, for example, we just chose to do this. We only bought the 1. And so what's going to happen is once we're going to evaluate each of these in order. And so this was the black player here has this number 2. And so right now they're at a 0, but they're going to take this turquoise marker and they're going to be placing it on the number 2. And that puts them out in front of everybody else. And so what's going to happen is they're going to be awarded victory points based upon that. So they're first in position right now here, perceived perception. They're going to get 8 victory points. And so they're going to do this from round to round to round to see what's going to happen for each of the different types of projects awarding victory points. And then any of those PR chips that have been used are going to be discarded, and they're sent back to the pile for the end of the game. Next, what's going to happen is there's going to be a sustainability assessment. And what's going to happen there is that you're going to go across, and you're going to be awarding victory points for the income levels here for each of the different projects. And how you're going to be getting points is going to be the least level that you're in. So it's going to kind of push you to broaden your investments, because you're not going to want to put all your eggs in one basket, because if you're lagging behind, you're only going to get victory points for your lowest levels. So, and as you can see here, look at some of these levels here. And it only goes from 4 points, and a little bit further up, you're all the way up to 54 points. So you're really going to want to try and drive up all of your companies equally. And so you're going to want to do that. And then finally, at the end of the game, there's going to be this company valuation, and that's going to be based upon your income level. So you want to try and do that too. So as you can see, this game overall, you're trying to develop your company on multiple different fronts. And all of the information can be seen on this game board. So you're going to be making decisions, investing in projects, taking some actions. We didn't really talk about action cards, but if you wanted to, as an action, you can, or one additional thing after investing is you could do one of these things. For example, here, this insider trading, it's going to decrease your income, not going to give you any victory points, but you could pay money to, you can increase or reduce your bid after the auction. So this could really help you out in terms of getting yourself in turn order. So you can invest in these different things. Some of these will give you, this is an ongoing thing here. You see this by this infinity symbol. And there's some other ones that will happen during various phases of the game. And so this will help you in terms of developing. For example, on the map here, if you have your certain projects in a certain shape, you can gain points and stuff too. So lots of different things going on, and that is Green Deal. Let's talk about Green Deal here. Let me start off with talking about the production value and the artwork and everything. I really like the cover artwork, and being from the United States, a lot of times we don't see these boxes like you see over in Europe, because this game came from Germany. And I love this box size. It's a nice bigger size here, but it's thin too, and so that it holds everything really nicely. Really nice job with the artwork on the cards. Very, very vibrant colors, very easy to see. Nice quality cards. The nice thing is that they're double-sided. So you've got English on one side, German on the other, and that lends to this open information. Nothing is hidden in this game, except for when you're going to be doing your PR evaluation, when you can place your cards secretly. Other than that, all the information is open on this game, which I really, really like, and I think that this game board, the game board for this, really does a great job of being able to show that. You can see where everybody's at in terms of their income level, their cash level, what projects they've been invested in. You can see what's coming up in terms of the turn order, so you can prepare for different types of things. So it's going to be looking like your company is going to be looked at, and you're going to have to make a presentation as to where you're at. You know, looking at your sustainability and being able to be awarded points. And then also you have this game board that's going to be showing you where your projects are in the world. Now there's some cool things about that map, and I didn't really go over it because I just showed you a little bit of how it works, but you can actually wrap around on the other side of the game board if you're along the edge, because of the way you can place tiles here. So, but I'll get into that in the gameplay in a little bit. But overall, cards and artwork and everything are great. The only thing that I have a complaint about is these little boards here that are going to be used for determining your money, because essentially it's a spinner board, and so you can see this kind of moves pretty easily. And so sometimes things can get moved during the auction phase. When you flip it over, things can move. And so perhaps in the next print run, they can think about using a two-piece dial that would be almost like, just have a little slit cut out that you can move around and be able to reveal it. Kind of like if you see the games like X-Wing or Star Trek Attack Wing or whatever, when they have the maneuver dials, you flip it over and you'll be able to see, and it just reveals that one little spot. And I think that that might really increase the quality of this particular piece. Everything else I really, really like. So let me get into talking about the game itself here. I'm going to set this box down because I knocked it down before. This game, to me, gives a really, really great overall feel of what it takes to run a company and different things that you can do. So it's really, really good. Uses the economic aspect of this game and makes it really, really work. Now, this game is going to be primarily driven by money. And so one thing that you need to do in this game is that you have to be aggressive about getting it, but you also have to be aggressive in spending it, because you're going to want to be able to get some prime projects to invest in to get victory points, to boost up your income. So there's different ways that you're going to have to do that. Now, when I say aggressive in spending your money, it doesn't mean that you're going to go crazy every turn and you're going to always want to be first and going after things, but you're going to have to weigh your options and know when it's time to really kind of put the money in, and also how you're going to do things in order to make sure that you have cash flow in order to work, because cash is king in this game and you're going to need it to operate. And so and that's important for any business, so it really brings that to light here. The other thing is too is that this whole thing about having your company evaluated, having the how are you perceived by the public, and so you have these PR evaluations, and so you have a way of essentially in your game when you're placing those little chips is you're having a press conference or something like that, and you can have the news be out there about how your company is doing and making it look good to the public, and so you can be rewarded for that. Also, how are you doing on all of your fronts, investing in all of the business types? So you can't just go heavy into one type of project, because you're not going to get the points, because you're not going to be building equally. So like a normal company, you're going to want to have your hands in a few different things that's going on to make sure that everything stays balanced. So I really, really like how that is. And then you have this map, which is a cool thing. It shows you where you are in the world with your projects. But one of the neat things is, and it shows this whole competition that is normal amongst businesses, is you're competing for specific types of things. And so if you're right next to each other, you can choose to basically have an alliance and the companies work together and you're cooperating and you're both going to increase your income, or you can choose to compete against each other. And obviously, the more powerful company or project is going to beat out the lesser company. So you have that to deal with as well. This game here, you have a couple different things that you can do in terms of getting a tax refund, using it as an action to get a little bit of money or a little bit more PR. You have action cards that you can invest in that are going to help you give you certain benefits, or is going to maybe allow you to stick it to some of the other companies that you're playing against. One thing though too, if you're running low on money and you have to take out a loan, these things can get pretty nasty, because later on when you're taking big amounts of money, because you start off with a little loan and then bigger loans, if you don't pay them back, they can be devastating, because it's almost like a 2-for-1 type thing. So you're going to cost you in cash. And there's also going to, at the end of the game, if you don't pay off the loans, it's going to cost you in victory points. So it could be really, really devastating. So there's definitely have to manage your money in this one. Let's see. Looking at this game from a family perspective, this is a great game to play. It's got a lot of cool mechanics. It's fun to play. But not only that, it's a really, really good tool for understanding a business. So I can see this being used, you know, for a family if they're playing a game, if they want to play something fun, but they also kind of want to maybe do a little something with the high school kids to kind of get them thinking about economic principles. Even in college, young adults, college students, this would be great for an economics major or business major to be able to play this game and to kind of get a little bit in the back of your mind of, like, I see how business works and everything. Even though it's set in the future, in 2050, the business principles that are in the game here are practical for today. So it's going to give you this great overall feel of like an economics class, but you're playing it and having fun. Definitely it's going to give you some decision-making skills. And it's also going to teach you a little bit, you're seeing how you're going to communicating with people. Are you going to be willing to work together? Are you going to want to compete with each other? So there's going to be this balance, and whatever you choose to do, your opponent has no say-so in it. They can't veto it. So they're like, oh, wait, I want to work with you. And they're like, no, I'm just going to compete with you. So it could be a little bit underhanded that way. Overall, this is a solid game. I'm really hoping that this game will make it to the U.S. market. This one's, you can order this one if you are in the U.S. and you want to get this. You can order it, but you're going to have it shipped over from Germany. So be aware of that. If you are interested in more about this game, I'll have information in the video description below. You can check that out. But this one here, Green Deal, solid economic game. It's about a middleweight game. Plays very well. I like this one. So, all right, that's it for now. And join me again next time as we take a look at another game and we see how it makes it to the table.